Hey, howdy, hey, partners. It's TodayIGrewUP, and today I'm super excited because we have a movie accurate Woody mod. Let's get into it.
You're watching Today I Grew Up!
Now give me the
Us,
microphone.
no!
It's my turn. You're watching Today I Grew Up. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Excited to be back with you today, partners, again. You've seen this video before, but why not do it again for fun? Some customer asked me, hey, can you show my Woody mod on camera? And I mean, I don't have to do it, but I'm going to do it because I thought, well, everyone's going to want to watch it, so might as well make it. So here it is. It's something you've already seen on my channel countless times. We have a not a toy company head in hands and boots. Honestly, I don't even know how they got this stuff because not a toy company doesn't make this anymore as far as I'm concerned. But I could tell it is not a toy company because I have one. This is exactly what the holster looks like. It's got the swinging kind of effect there like mine does. I will change the ruby though because my darker burgundy one looks better, and I do love this belt buckle, so that's gonna stay. We're gonna do the whole work thing on this, so work up new pearlized buttons, magnetic badge, because the pin is too hard to do, so I'm not gonna do that mod here. And we're gonna do the boot transfer, which I hate doing because these are glued in usually. So I do have some boiling water right here where I'm going to dip the boots in. See how that works out for us. It's always a risky maneuver when modding Woody. And then cutting the tag. There is already a Divine Child voice box in here, so I will take that out because I need to do the pro buttons. Then I'll put it back in. But check out these boots. They're very nice. Not a Toy Company did the best work. I'm just kind of sad that he doesn't do it anymore, but he did the best. It looks like leather. Obviously, this is a more fragile material. It is kind of like a hard resin. Not sure what it's made out of. It's almost like sculpted by hand, it feels like sometimes. But very, very great job on these. These are the best boots, honestly. They're really nice. The head itself is pretty good. I really like Not a Toy Company's work. He always did a great job. Hairlines are nice. I like the sculpting. The head is a little bit smaller, I think, than maybe a Thinkway head. Maybe slightly, but not by much. But it's really, really nice, and rosy cheeks are on point. The eye color is good. Eyebrows are fun. So yeah, this is great. It's already got the neck joint, so it'll be easy to put on the body. We also got the open hands to install, which are very nice. Although this hat is very hard material and is breakable, got to be very careful with it. It's got the real vinyl poly stitching around the hat, which is nice. I will do a hat felt mod on it, but this is a very fragile hat, so keep that in mind. If you have one of these, don't drop them. They could break. How can I not talk about the body itself? It's a rare Brazil body. You can tell because the vest is sewn on and it looks tailored, unlike the USA Cloud editions. We have real denim jeans here. Really excellent condition. No complaints there. We just got to take these boots off and put Not a Toy Company's boots on. So this is the part of the show where I'm going to dunk his boots into boiling water and see if I can get glue separation to separate this plate, boot plate, from the boot. Do not try this at home. This is done by a professional, TodayIGrewUP, which is me. And I'm going to dunk the boots into boiling water. So it is very hot water. We're going to stick them in there. I don't ever recommend you wetting him up here because you don't want to wet fabric. Although maybe it might get wet in the bottom. Not a big deal. We're just trying to get the glue to soften down here on the boots so that we can separate the boot plate from the Thinkway Toys boot. A few minutes. You don't need to soak them that long. We're gonna see how these do. And already I can tell my tool is gliding very nicely in this boot plate region, because usually they super glue this. And I'm gonna go around here and try to see if I can separate it a little more. And I can tell definitely the hot water has helped soften the glue, because if you don't do this, you're going to have a really hard time separating this. And I know because I've done this several times before. So even doing it with this water, it's still kind of a hard time to separate it. And then if you poke too much in there, you can create stress marks on the top of the boot, which could damage it. So I'm trying not to damage it, although they're not going to use these boots. I'm still going to be very careful. The hot boiling water didn't help. I think it helped a little bit, but you can see the stress marks where I had to break it because it wasn't coming off. So I had to break this part off, and that's what I'm talking about. I mean, technically, If you wanted to reuse these boots, you can, and then you just super glue it. And you just had to paint over the stress marks. And you can still work with them. But in this case, I tried my best. And that's the risk you take when modding toys. You can't always get it perfect. And so this thing sometimes is glued. I'm so glad. In our case here, it was not glued. See, it's a little wet on the bottom, but it's okay. We can get that dry. Things had to be broken off because, there we go. See, you can put it back. You just need to paint it back or glue it back. Other than that, though, it's still a great boot. You know, that's the best we can do given the circumstances. These toys are so old, and it's always risky. We never know what's going to happen. Even with boiling water, you can see it's not perfect, but it's my best attempt. Okay, the ThinkWeight boots are now removed, and you can see that I had to break the bottoms to do that. That's expected. This usually happens, so I'm not too surprised. But at least I kept the rest of the boot in great condition. I used to get asked this question all the time. Well, how do you put these boots on then? Well, you just put a lot of super glue down there and hot glue, and you just push it all the way down as far as you can go. So I compare it to like a cloud pattern Woody to make sure that the height's consistent, and so that'll work. But I'm gonna let these pants dry because they're a little wet before I glue the boots on. While we're waiting for the Woody body to dry on the legs, we're gonna use this walnut brown felt material that you get at your local craft store. I found mine at Michael's, that's what it's called. And here's the hat, and what I do is I kind of like press it in there to see the indent of like, okay, where do I have to cut it around? And then I cut it in like a few pieces. So I just cut the hat felt pieces, and it's usually 3 pieces. So you have the front piece, you have a back piece, and then you have the bottom piece. And I just use a hot glue gun and get that all set in there just to protect the head, because these heads are custom painted, so you don't have to scratch up against these harsh materials. The felt also helps it sit on Woody more properly. So I hot glue gunned it in because I prefer hot glue gun over super glue, because you can always reverse it, and that looks great. Don't worry about the little dried spots, you know, that doesn't mess with anything. But it looks great now, and when you put the hat on Woody, it sits on him a lot better. That looks really good, actually, so pretty awesome. Woody's pants are now dry. I put them on a fan to make sure there was no more wet marks or wetness anywhere. So as you can see here that I got the heights to match, so I made sure that I did the boots correctly with the jeans there so that it's the same size as Collection Woody, because we know Collection Woody is movie accurate height. So that worked out perfectly, getting that on, and it was a challenge. I don't like doing these all the time, but it worked out, and his boots look great on him. They are fragile. This is less of a toy and more of a display piece, but it definitely works on this Woody. So if you buy the buttons on my shop, TodayIGrewUP.com, where I sell these pearlized buttons, I do have them so that they're the sharp kind that you just stab into the fabric. And so step 1 is to remove the old buttons with these seam rippers, or they're like cutters that you cut into the threads. Sometimes they're glued on, so you got to be careful. And then what you do is you stab in the buttons that you can buy from my shop, or if you find them yourself, they're 9.5 millimeter, and you put them there. You can stab them in the fabric. And then what I recommend you get, and you can get these on Amazon, it's a snap fastener tool. So basically you go behind Woody here, and then you clamp it. Make sure you get it right centered, and boom, you clamp it really hard, and then you let go, and if you do it right, it'll be like this button where it won't come off, and it's in the fabric and it's not coming off. So this one definitely works. So I definitely recommend you get something like that if you buy the pearlized buttons from my website, TodayIGrewUP.com. And that's the best way to secure them for Woody's shirt. Now, I do recommend you take out the voice box if you're doing that, because you need to get behind here to work in the pocket. So you don't want the voice box in the way for that. Another thing I recommend is you take off the hands first, then you get in there to work on the new button before putting on the hand. So, and for this method, you might not be able to use this because it might not work, it's too small. So I usually use these gator grips. I go underneath and then I put like a cloth over. So you can use any kind of fabric, microfiber cloth or whatever fabric. Go under and then just clamp until it bends into the fabric. And that's what I do for the hands. So that is kind of like a secret trick that I do because it's such a small area to work with, and these don't usually work with that part. And for fun here, we have my movie accurate custom Woody next to this commissioned custom Woody on the right. It reminds me a lot of the ones that I used to make with Not a Toy Company, and it's crazy how much mine has changed with time, but they're very similar for sure. I noticed that his boots are a little darker than mine for some reason, even though it's both Not a Toy Company. Just some differences, and that's expected when you custom make toys. They're not going to be exactly the same. I have a Medicom hat. This is Not a Toy Company mold. And I'm thinking of changing the Preston head to my Seed Toys head again, just because that one is more like Thinkway toys, and I think I'm going for that now. But it's just interesting to see how these custom Woodies come out, and they all have their own kind of feel and character to them. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of this Woody compared to this one? This Woody mod came out super great. Congratulations, partner. You know who you are, who got this custom mod for me. I'm not going to be doing commissions for now. I am putting a hold on commissions. Maybe one day I'll bring them back, but for now, this is the last one I'm going to do for a while because I've gotten really busy with other projects, so I hope to focus on different things. But wow, this came out really awesome, and I really hope you enjoy it. There's certain things that I couldn't do on camera because it's just really hard, and I want to make sure I do the job right. It is fragile. Remember, this is more of a prop display piece than it is an actual toy you can play with, but the voice box does work, and it's amazing. Well, before we end here, I want to show off some features of Woody. So we'll take the hat off. It is kind of heavy, but it does have the felt mod now to protect the paint. It should stay on. It's really hard for it to stay on the figure when you're moving him around, so I don't really advise that. He's definitely a little bit more fragile than other custom Woodies I've seen out there, just because you don't want to drop these. He can do 360 on the head, so that is great. The head flop is limited. He can move it, you know, side to side, forward and back. It is limited just because there's not much space in there between the voice box and the neck joint, especially because I had to add stuffing to him because that was a special request. So I had to stuff him with more cotton balls, basically so that his body was a little squishier and wider, which I think does look better. It complements the figure of Woody, especially in this section right here. Without the cotton stuffing, it just looks kind of weird. So that looks a lot better. The head flap is great. I did add some little hot glue to attach the bandana there and to fan it out. I think it looks great. I trimmed it a little bit. He has a magnetic badge because I cannot do the pin replication. It's a little dangerous too. I don't want to do that. So it's going to stay with the magnet from Not a Toy Company. Real pearlized buttons. We also have on the back the slow retract voice box with my accurate movie pull string ring. Pretty epic. It says all the lines that you want Woody to say. He does have the swinging holster. Now, it was requested that my Ruby be replaced because the one that came from Not a Toy Company isn't bad at all, but I noticed that that one was just like a little pinkish in color. As you can see here, it's a little bit more pink, and mine is like a true kind of more burgundy red, which I studied the movies, and it's more like that. We also have the swinging holster mod, so when Woody looks like he's running, his holster can swing. I added some special super glue deep in that pocket so it's not going to come out. I think it came out pretty professional. The boots came out as great as I could. It's not perfect, you know. I had to fill it with glue and super glue to keep them from falling off. The last touch is I need to add Andy on the bottom of the boot, which I will handwrite right before I ship him. But everything came out. His boots won't fall off. You can slightly pull on them, but I don't recommend that if you have the same mod. Just be careful with it. It's more for display, like I said. And yeah, he looks overall amazing. So congratulations, partner. You got a movie accurate Woody ready to come back to your house. As always, partners, thank you so much for watching, liking, and commenting on these videos. It really helps support what I do here on YouTube. If you'd like to continue to support me in this journey, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted for future videos on this channel. Next, video review.
You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you're an action figure!
You are a sad, strange little man. You are a sad, strange little man. That might be.
You are a child's plaything! Hey, Ham, look, I'm Picasso.
I don't get it.